Welcome everybody. Good evening, everybody. This is Baku Power BI, Excel, and Innovative Educators Meetup Group's 8th session in 2022. So welcome once again. Let's go on with our agenda. After introduction, I will give a little bit information about our sponsor, so-called Enterprise DNA. And then our guest speaker, Fowmy Abdulmuttalib, will speak about why do my DAX formulas return wrong results. This is our today's session's topic. And then we will define our winners. 3 winners will be randomly selected. And then we'll have a Q&A and Q&A session. Actually, we'll define our winners a little bit earlier, and then our session will get started. And as for our sponsor, this is Enterprise DNA. Enterprise DNA, an Australian educational platform where one can get the necessary information about our platform products. And Enterprise DNA gives 3 full membership to each, memberships each month. And these people are selected randomly. And as for Baku Power BI, Excel, and Innovative Educators Meetup. Okay, Meetup Group, we have roughly 1,200. I'm sorry. Okay, не закрывай. Хорошо, закрой, пожалуйста. Okay, не шумно. Okay. Sorry, and we have roughly just a minute. I'm very sorry. It was my kid. I'm very sorry. Is that okay? Okay, sorry. I'm sorry for that. Baku Power BI, Excel, and Innovative Educators Meetup Group have roughly 1,200 people from different parts of the world. And let's go on with our next slide. This is about Enterprise DNA, and really, I strongly offer you to use this platform. And I hope that you will get the necessary information regarding Power BI, Power Apps, Power Automate, and R language, Python, so on and so forth. And as for today's speaker, we have Fowmy Abdulmuttalib from Sri Lanka, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you're right.
Saudi Arabia, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
you're right. Yes, absolutely.
And he will be delivering speech about why do my DAX formulas return wrong results. It's very interesting topic. I have had an opportunity to watch recorded version of these topics. Really, I found it very interesting, and I strongly believe that it's gonna be interesting. And as for our next speakers, we have different, very skilled, very good people as today's speaker. We're gonna have Paul Kassem from Netherlands, then Vahid Dostmajid from Australia, Pragati Jain from London, Nastya Nesterova from Russia, and Brian Julius from USA. So our session is recorded and live streaming. I hope you are okay with this. And it will be live streaming on our Facebook page, so-called Excel World. And if you are not able to be here till end of the session, you will have an opportunity to watch the recorded version on my YouTube channel, so-called Ilgar Zarbaliev in Parents Excel World. And taking an opportunity, I kindly invite you to watch other sessions that delivered by different speakers. So I would like also to give a little bit of information about my data summit, which is going to be happen for the period of September 5th to 7th. 2022. This event is organized by me and by Mr. Faraz Sheikh, who is Microsoft MVP and who is also from Saudi Arabia. I mean, from India, but as Fowmy Abdulmuttalib, he is also located in Saudi Arabia. So www.mydatasummit.com from this web page, pardon, you can get the necessary information. Just a minute, sorry. Yeah, and you can get the necessary information. And as for the last point of our agenda, I would like to define our winners. These three members will be randomly selected based upon, among the attendees who attended our previous sessions. So let me switch my screen to my Excel file. Actually, here are the people, roughly, if I'm not mistaken, yes, 37 people who have attended our previous sessions, the two previous sessions. And this is the unique list of those people and who has roughly attended each of session more than or equal to and equal to 40 minutes. So these are the people, and here we have our function. I have used index and rank between functions. So I'm just going to press F9 key and will count back from 3. And when I come to 1, I will release my fingers, and here we will see the 3 winners. It's very possible that one name can be appeared for 2 times. If this case appears, I will do it once again. So let's get started. I'm pressing F9, 3, 2, 1. So these are the people, our winners, Oktay Ibrahimov, Ali Aliyev, and Parvin Nurullah. I think all these people are from Azerbaijan. So I will contact with these people, and as of tomorrow, they will have an opportunity to join to Enterprise DNA and to use their services. So in my turn, I thank you, each of you, for joining today's session. And I strongly believe that we'll get in touch on June 23rd, 2022. So I stopped sharing my screen, and now it's time for delivering a speech by Fowmy Abdulmuttalib. So yeah, that's it. So stage is yours. Fowmy.
Thank you, Elgar. So let me share my slide. Hope you can see my screen.
Yes, I see. Yeah, we see your screen. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Yes, thanks again for giving me this opportunity to present at your user group and the meetup session today. So it's exciting for me. This is the first time I'm doing a session for Azerbaijan Baku user group. We've got a lot of participants today, so it's going to be fun and a lot of learning to do. A lot of DAX, basically. It's going to be a demo heavy session today. I don't have many slides to share with you, but a lot of DAX codes, of course. So let's dive into the presentation. First, let me give a bit of myself. My name is Fowmy Abdulmuttalib. You can call me Fowmy. And I'm from Sri Lanka, and I work here at McDonald's for Saudi Arabia for quite some time now. Originally, I'm a finance professional. I was in finance for about 14 years, then shifted my career towards business intelligence and data analytics. And I've been enjoying my new role and new career path, actually. So in addition to that, I also have a consulting service in the name of ExcelFort. Essentially, I provide Power BI Microsoft Excel based solutions in terms of business intelligence, data analytics, and training related to that. In addition, I also run the Power BI user group here in Jeddah. During my free time, I create YouTube channel and share it on my channel, which is ExcelFort. You can visit. And if you would like to connect with me, of course, I am active on LinkedIn and Twitter. This is my Twitter handle, ExcelFort, and my LinkedIn is /Fowmy. So with that, let me go into today's session. So the topic today is why do my DAX formulas return wrong results? So what basically I'm going to do today is have a look at some of the common DAX mistakes, especially beginners of DAX make when they create calculations, let it be measures or calculated column, right? So I've identified or collected these mistakes to share with you in a session like this, so that we'll be able to analyze how the calculations have been made, and we can fix them and learn what not to do and what to do. Sort of, it's a learning process, right? So whenever there are mistakes, it's an opportunity for us to learn from them. So at the end, you will brush up your DAX knowledge, the concepts, right? This will definitely help you understand the concepts in DAX that we use. Those are fundamentals to understanding and writing DAX code, right? So in the next slide, I'm going to share with you some tips on guidance on learning DAX. I'm sure most of you are like beginners or like experts. I'm not sure about the participants today, but if you're attending this session, definitely, most probably, you would like to improve your DAX, right? Already started writing and see what opportunities you have here to benefit from. Now, already you have encountered the key concepts, and would have learned it. If you don't learn these concepts at the beginning, then it's going to be hard for you to write correct and proper DAX, right? There are enough textbooks, videos on these concepts. I would like to refer you to SQL BI. They have a lot of content, books, videos, and courses for you to understand DAX, right? So evaluation context, iterators, context transition, and expanded tables are very important in your DAX journey to understand and learn at the beginning. So when you learn, you will have a clear understanding of the function. The king of the functions, I would call, is calculate. So along with this, you will have a proper foundation to go in your DAX journey. And mindset is very important when you write DAX. It's not about Excel, SQL, or any other traditional languages. It's a unique language. It revolves around context transition. It revolves around context, right? It includes context transition, filter context, raw context, and so on, right? So that knowledge is very important for you. And practice is very important. So the more you practice, you learn more, right? From the mistakes you make, you should always stop there and understand, okay, why my formula is calculating a wrong number. When you investigate, it's a learning opportunity for you. So I would definitely advise you to do that. The last one is there is no trial and error in this one, right? Say, for example, if you are using a particular function and if it doesn't give you the expected results, don't go and try a different function and see, okay, if it works. And if you're happy with the number, don't go on from there, because when the context changes, you may get a different answer, right? So that's what's very important here. Okay, I hope you got these points. They are very important. And with this, I can get into the demo straight away. Let me share my Power BI file. Okay. Ilga, hope my Power BI file is visible to you and everybody.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, for me, yeah, it's visible.
Okay, then great. So what we are going to do today here is to go through 10 examples that will show you different concepts in DAX. And I have picked this up from users who submitted questions in community forums related to DAX. And I collected them and created these 10 examples for you. We learn from the mistakes, basically. So there are 10 scenarios. The first one is about zero and blank issue. So you should have a proper understanding of how DAX treats zero, blank, zero, and blank together, right? Let me go into that particular page. So this is my first question. Show as not recorded for each date if the value is equal to blank, otherwise recorded. So what it means is like, if it is blank, I need to show as not recorded. See, for example, here, 7th, it's blank. It is supposed to show not recorded. Let me launch my Zoom it so I can explain with some notations on the screen. Yeah, great. Now, if you see here, this is a blank here. This is a blank value here. And again, these two are supposed to show like, not recorded. Whereas if you go to this particular one, right, they're having some numbers, zeros. So 0 is also considered here as blank. So the requirement is only to show not recorded whenever there is no value, blank, right? But let's have a look at the DAX calculation that has been written here. So value recorded is the DAX measure. So if you look at the DAX calculation, so I am basically summing the value, okay? I would also share with you the table which I am using for this calculation. So it's a simple table which has dates and values where I get some blank values over here, right? Okay, this I have used it for this example. If you go back, I'll just show you the measure. So which is summing the value column in that table. It checks if the sum of that value column based on this filter context is equal to blank, then show not recorded, otherwise recorded. So it seems correct, right? But why it shows not recorded when it is 0 as well? That's because of this equal sign over here. So you should understand one thing in DAX. DAX considers both blank and 0 to be blank, right? So how do you strictly identify and compare blank or 0? For that, there are two ways in DAX. One is instead of equal sign, you can have two equal signs. This means you are strictly comparing to blank, right? Now let's confirm this measure and see what kind of results we are getting over here. Okay, now it's showing the correct results, right? Not recorded only for blank. So this is one way, or we can use the function is blank, which is the same thing that is being done here, but we are using a function called is blank. That's also correct. You can pick whichever suits for your calculations, right? Now, there is another measure here. It's showing 6, count 0 records. Now, there are 0 records here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So how do I calculate that? Calculate of count rows in that table. I'm apply a condition here, a filter. It says table value is equal to 0. Whenever it's equal to 0, count. But it's showing 6. 6 means blank and 0. As I told you before, we can simply add, in this case, strict evaluation. Now I am strictly comparing to 0. Let's see how many zeros we have. There are 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. So hope you got that point. So keep it in mind, blank and 0, they both are considered as blank. Right. Now let's move on to the second one. Okay. From this example onwards till the end, I will use a small data model. Let me share with you. I have a dates table, a products table. They are linked using one-to-many relationship to a sales data table, right? Okay, let's have a look at the table just to be sure what we have and to know. I have products, 6 products with the product name, product ID, and the category. We have 2 categories, category A and category B. It's a simple table. And in the sales data table, I have linked the date table and the product ID. Apart from that, we also have some dimensions available in this. The segment, country, also we have the unit sold, unit price, cost price, and the salesperson, right? Who is behind the sales, right? You know, who sold these items. So there are 10 salesperson. I have distributed them, right? Now let's go back to our second question. So in this question, I have in my matrix visual salesperson by total sales. Total sales is nothing but a measure, a simple measure, which multiply sales price by units sold.
Excuse me, Fowmy. Sorry for
Yeah.
interrupting you. There is one comment in the chat that Shiv says you showed double equal sign. What's the equivalent of? Yes, so just for your information.
Yeah, double equal sign. Yes. Is it a question?
If you have an opportunity, please have a look at chat because I think we have to interfere like this time. So he says that this is strictly not equal to. I mean,
yeah. Like you showed 2 times equal to does an exact match.
Yes.
What is like strictly not equal to? Is there something like that?
Yeah, we should be able to use it. Not equal to as well. So I haven't tested it. We can check that one also. Let's see how this works. Should work. So let's have this one. And yeah, it works. So it's counting all the records which are not equal to 0, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay. Thank you.
So you can use it. Make sure you put the note at the beginning of the comparison. Okay.
Actually, Okla Turve is also mentioned it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, okay, welcome. It's a good question, actually. Fine, let's move on. Let's go on to the second one, where I was explaining, like we have salesperson and total sales. We want to segregate them, bucket them into different sales bands, like based on the sales amount. So it says create a sales band measure, where if the sale is less than 6 million, then it's low. Greater than 6 million, it's medium. And it's higher than 8 million, then we tag it as high, right? So based on this measure, if you look at it clearly, this one, 8.9 million is shown as medium, where this says should be high, right? So I'm not getting the right results. Other calculations are okay in other rows. Let's have a look at the measure, how it has been built. Okay, I have everything in my measure folder. Sales band. Okay, so now here, what I do is first assign this total sales measure to a variable. So it will be easy for me to write codes and make it readable and clear for others as well. So I use switch here. Switch true, when it will become true is when one of the conditions becomes true, right? So let's see sales, my variable where I have the total sales. I check if the amount is less than 6 million, then low. greater than or equal to 6 million, then medium. If it is higher than 8 million, then high, right? In that, so it's as per the instructions that is there in the question, right? But I'm not getting it. If you look at the measure here, the problem is the order in which I have arranged my conditions, right? So first we'll check one number here. The sales 8.9 million. If you run this through this calculation, so it's less than 6 million, no, but this is greater than or equal to definitely 6 million. So this second condition becomes true, and it shows medium. Even it's higher than 8 million as well. So whichever comes first, it will take. The problem here is the order, right? I need to check first the highest one, medium and low. If you rearrange it, it should definitely work. So now, in order to move this line up, I can also teach you some shortcuts when you work with Dax Editor in Power BI. So you place your cursor anywhere in the line, press Alt key and up arrow. So it just moves, right? And you want the low to go down, so Alt down arrow. Good. Now, if you fix your commas over here, now I'm checking for high first. So I clear from the top, then medium and low. So let's confirm this measure. Now you are getting high for 8.9 million, right? Yes, hope that's clear. Let's move on to the third one. Okay. So from here onwards, we are going to have a look at the concepts that are involved in DAX. Okay, these examples are trying to teach you the missing concepts in this, or wrongly used concepts. Now, this question is add a calculated column in products table for total units. So I need to add a calculated column, and the result should give you what you see on the screen, right? Total units for each items. Now, let's have a look at the products table. So in the products table, you have 6 products. So I want to get the number of units sold for each product. If you take the first item, I need a column here that shows the number and so on, right? You would think first, okay, there is a relationship here, product table to sales data table. So keeping that in mind, beginners usually what they do, they try this way. Let me show you. Let's say total units. I have a measure with the same name, so let me name it as column. Sum sales data table units sold. Okay. Yes, please.
Sorry. So by times I'm, I interrupt you. Sorry for this. And want to ask is this question: is switch better, or which is better, switch function or if function?
No, they both are same. Actually, readability wise, and there is a bit performance advantage also there in switch, but I would recommend using switch.
Got it. Thank you. So sorry for interrupting you. So go on.
No problem. Okay, that's great. Right. So let's have a look at the total units column here. So I am summing the unit sold column from the sales table, right? So what do I expect here when I do this? Because I have a relationship between product and the sales table. So it should give me the total units for each product, right? Let me confirm this. Okay, it's giving me the same number everywhere. This is actually the total units for all products, not only for, let's say, Karatera. Oh, no. So the problem here is the relationship is not implemented within this calculation because you you need a way of introducing the relationship to flow the filter from the product table to the sales table, right? Which function can do that, which is calculate again. So calculate does one of the jobs is to create a context transition in this case. So what is context transition is, but we are passing this particular filter, right? This line. This is from the product table. We need to filter the sales table, right? The sales table by this, right? So in order for us to use this filter, we need to use calculate so that it will convert this transition, right? It will perform the transition. So it will pass it as filter to the sales table, and correct calculation will be done in this case. Let's apply calculate. So when you create a calculated column, what happens is it creates a row context. What is a row context? It iterates row by row, right? When you create a calculated column, you just type only once, then it applies to each and every row. So it's iterating one row at a time. So each row here is converted into an equivalent filter and passed to the sales table. Then that's how the amount is now calculated correctly. Okay, so this is one way to use this one. And I can also show you another way, like a related table, right? If you go to related table, this will also apply the filter in the same way. In the background, it's using the calculated columns. So a related table will return a table, right? If you click OK, it will return whatever related for this particular product. But from this table, what you can do an iterator function like SumX. Now I'm going to do is units sold. Okay. Even with this approach, you are getting the correct answer. In this case, the filter is used with a related table. Okay. Let's go back to the next question. So where we had a look at context transition and how to use the calculate for that. Number 4. We are looking at a ranking problem. There are two measures here, right? We are using this ranking measure to rank a salesperson. I first have the segment, then the salesperson. So for each segment, under each segment, I have the salesperson and their total units sold. I want to rank them by total units sold. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and onwards. And also the second ranking measure has to show total sales, and the ranking should be based on the sales. So basically ranking by total units and total sales. The problem here is I am getting 1 everywhere. So this is a common mistake I come across. Let's have a look at the first measure, how it is done. This is rank by units. Okay. Let's have a look at the measure, how it has been built. I'm first checking using ease in scope just to make sure there is only one salesperson visible and it is part of the grouping here, right? So I don't want to apply any ranking when there is no salesperson. One salesperson is not visible here, right? A single one. If that's true, then I use a rank X. So how does rank X works is like it's asked for two inputs mandatory. So they are one is the first, it's asked for a table to iterate one row at a time, then it needs an expression to rank by, right? So that's why I have given the table first. I want to iterate each and every salesperson and calculate the sum of units sold. So in that case, why it's not returning my expected ranking here? If you look at it again, we are going back to context transition. Now, this particular sum here, okay, it's calculated for all the salesperson that are there. But when it comes to this particular line, it has to calculate only for the salesperson that is visible, right? So to apply that filter, again, we can use calculate. Now, what this does is it converts the salesperson as a filter and apply onto the sales data table. Then that's how you are getting your results correctly. Now it's giving you the correct ranking, right? After we apply calculate, because there has to be a context transition here. Or if you have a measure, right, you can directly apply that here. I already have a measure called total units sold, which does the same operation, sum of units sold, right? Now, if you go back to my measure, I can get rid of this line and total units. Let me press enter and confirm this and have a look at the measure. Now, if you look at this, you see the ranking is getting calculated correctly. So how is it possible? Why I don't have a calculator over here, right? There is no difference here, right? There is no context transition is already there, even without the calculate. How is that? You should understand, whenever you create a measure in Power BI, it gets wrapped around by a calculate, right? All the explicit measures are calculated when you create it with a calculate. That's why the context transition calculate is already there. So the context transition is happening. So you don't have to have a calculate here. Right. Okay. Now let's solve the second problem. Why the sales is not getting you the correct ranking? If you go back to the sales measure, open, same condition, one salesperson is visible, then rank X. In this case, I'm using total sales, the measure. So context transition part is covered here. But for the table part, what I'm doing is using values instead of all selected. Before I used all selected in my, I'll just show you. All selected, it was working fine. But in this case, I've used values. There is a confusion between these two table functions. They are returning tables basically. So in this case, all selected, actually it clears the filter within the visual, okay, and restore to the original filter context. So if you are here, let's say, this is a salesperson, right? It will give you all the salesperson that are visible on each line, right? But if you use values, let me go back to values. What happens is values will give you what is visible in the current filter context. Now, our ranking is 1, right? For a ranking to be done, you need all the salesperson to be visible. Then only you will be able to apply the total sales measure on total sales measure onto each and every salesperson and identify the position. So values will return only A in this case, right? So it returns only A. So that way it won't be able to see other salesperson. That's why it's returning only 1. So instead of values, we can use all selected. Now, this is calculated correctly. This is why I used all selected instead of values. Okay, this is our ranking problem. Next, we'll move on to another one, which is grand total. Okay, calculate 10% sales commission for each salesperson having sales over 7 million. So if the sales amount is more than 7 million, I have to calculate 10% commission. So 8.9 million, 10%, 895,000 and 776. So this is all correct, right? And these salesperson, they don't qualify, so there is no commission for them. But look at the total, right? This is wrong. It is calculating 10% of the total, including all 10 salespersons. Here, the amount should be the total of these three, right? Why it's not giving me the correct total? This is a total problem. We always come across this. You should understand in a matrix, DAX doesn't calculate from the same column what appears above that number, right? Above the grand total. It doesn't total up what's visible over here, right? It doesn't total like this. Even here, what happens is it calculate based on the filter context. Here, the filter context is for salesperson is what? Only B, right? But when it comes to this total line, the filter context for salesperson is what? All the salesperson. That's why it's calculating for everybody. So we need to iterate each and every salesperson, find out what is his commission and add one at a time, then get the grand total. So now we understood how it should be done. Let's have a look at how the measure has been built. So I'm simply using a simple measure here, like if total sales is greater than 7 million, total sales multiplied by 10%. The calculation is correct, but the context is very important. So you need to iterate over each and every salesperson. To iterate, there are multiple functions I already used. Usually it ends with X. Let's use SumX in this case. SumX asks for a table to iterate. I want values of salesperson. Okay. For each salesperson, I want to check if total amount greater than 7 million. That's the time I calculate it, right? I'll close my measure. Let me press enter and see what I get here. Okay, 2.4 million, so which is correct. So I'm iterating over each and every salesperson. You must be wondering why I used values here. Values because when I am in the row level, I just need to see only what is visible in the current filter context, which is only salesperson. I don't want anything else, right? But when it comes to the grand total, I need whatever is visible there, right? And I need to iterate over each and every salesperson in this case. Yes, that's my fifth example. We are moving to the sixth one. So next three, for example, is going to tackle the calculation of percentages. If you have percentage calculations, you would come across these issues, challenges. So let's see how to handle them. So what's the first one? The sixth one says, show segment sales as a percentage of respective category. In my matrix, I have added product category and segment. We have two categories, product A, product B. Under each, I have the segment, I have the total sales here. So I want to calculate, for example, if you look at government sales as a percentage of its category B, right? This should be divided by this one, which is correctly done. And I can see there is no issue with the results I'm seeing. But the moment you select any particular segment over here, let's say I have selected channel partners and enterprise. In this case, it doesn't give you the correct representation here, right? 5.8 million is not divided by 6.3 here. In that case, this has to be always 100%, right? Even if I select anything. So that to get 100% here and split the breakup, the total of these two should be always 100%. Even when I am selecting a segment, one or more segment here. So how do you do that? Let's have a look at the measure that's been already done. So what I do here is use divide, that's correct. I divide the total sales, what appears here, by another amount, which is calculated using calculate. Here in this case, I am calculating total sales amount, removing the filter on segment. So I'm removing the filter on these segments so that I should get this value, right, throughout. That's fine. But when you clear the filter, I use all here. So this is the problem. That doesn't give you the correct answer that you're expecting. So the difference between all and all selected, you should understand this. The answer is like all selected here. If you use all selected, it will give you the correct answer when you select. But what happens is when you use all, it clears the filter from the segment, not only what is selected, from the whole column, right? Now, if I go and select 2, let's go back to my measure here. It clears the filter from everything over here. So that's why you are getting the grand total. Total of all the segments. If you want to clear the filter only what is selected, then you must use all selected. It clears only the filter from what is selected, right? These two. Let's have a look at the results right now. Okay, now look at this. You get 100%, 91 and 9, right? Even when you select. If you remove the filter, you are getting the correct amount, right? It's working fine now. Yes, let's move on to the next one. Okay, 7th. Anybody has any questions? Let me quickly answer and move on.
Not for now, but I hope at the end of the session we'll have questions. So you may go.
Yeah. I'm not keeping an eye on the chat, so let me know if there is anything, definitely. Okay. Yes, so we are on to another percentage calculation issue. What is this time? Calculate segment gross sales contribution percentage to respective category. So let's see, it's the same thing, but the question is a bit different and the calculation is different as well. So I have here product category and segment, the sales, total sales is there, right? I need to calculate the same thing. But in this case, I haven't selected anything. I see 100% everywhere, right? This 100% everywhere is an issue here, right? So what should happen is if you excuse me for a second. Sorry about that, I'm back. So let's continue. So why this is giving 100% everywhere, right? Even if I select any segment, I don't see the correct answer. So something's wrong with this calculation, right? Let's have a look at this. So how do I do this time? I'm using variables, right? Variables are pretty useful. When you use variables, it makes your code readable. And it's very performant, actually, the way you use it. If you use it with proper understanding, it's highly performant. Now, I just need to do take this particular amount, let's say 411,000, and divide it by this 27 million, right? So basically I'm dividing here. This is my total sales. This is the sales 411,000, and this should be the sales for that particular category. So how do I do this? Using variables. In the first variable that says total sales, I am calculating, yes, total sales. This contains the total sales amount. So in the second argument here, I need to provide the sales after removing the filter from segment. So here I calculate again, use calculate, and I'm using the same variable because I know this variable contains the total sales, right? I need the total sales here. Why should I repeat the measure? I can use the same variable, right? I'm trying to be efficient here. Then I remove the filter. We know that we have to use all selected. Fine. It looks perfect. Nothing's wrong, but why I'm getting my results wrong? Okay. The problem lies in the variable. You should understand, once you assign a measure result to a variable, the variable becomes like a constant, right? It doesn't change after that. So filter modification will not affect this particular variable. That's why here, when you have total sales and when you try to clear the filter from segment, it doesn't get recalculated, right? It's same as a constant number. If I replace this with the measure, right, total sales, in this case, what happens is now the relationship is there with the data model, right? Now, if I click OK, check, it should give me the correct results. Now I'm getting my answers correct. Even if you select any particular item over here, one or more, the answer is correct. So what we learn here is the use of variables. Okay. Fine. Now let me go back to the percentage calculation. We have another issue. In this case, we are trying to solve a similar problem. But what I have here is the year and the month name, right? I need to get the monthly percentage of total sales for its particular related year. So September sales, I need to be divided by that particular year's sales, right? This one, and so on. I'm getting 100% again. I'm not getting the correct answer. Why is that? Let's go and check the measure. So now we have learned two things. We need to use all selected if you want to clear the filter through this, and also use of variables. Now I have done the same thing, like my approach is same, using variables for this. Total sales divided by total sales all months. The measure is assigned. In this case, I am not using the total sales variable. Instead, I am using the total sales measure directly, right? It doesn't seem to have any problem, but the calculation is wrong. How is it happening? Okay. If you look at this a dimension, I am using year and month. One thing you should remember is in your date table, in order for you to sort the months in the correct order, here you see September, October, November, and December. How is it sorted, right? We use, let me go back to the dates table. Right, this is my date table, and I have the month name there. If you click on month name, and go to the sort by column, you see month number is selected as the sort by column. Month number is a numeric field, so it can sort in order. That's why we are used month number as the sorting for this, right? Year doesn't need because it's a numeric number. So what it has got to do with my measure? Okay. See, when you clear the filter from the month name, you also have to clear the associated column which you use for sorting purpose. In this case, we use the month number, right? So let me clear the month number as well. Month number. And try to confirm this and see what happens. Now we are getting the correct answer. So remember, when you clear the filter, not only in dates table, in wherever you have applied sort by column, you clear the main column and the whatever is associated with the sort. Okay, that's my second one. I mean the third percentage example. Let's move on to the ninth one, the product category. Okay, this is a bit different. Calculate product sales percentage of related product category, keeping only product. So I need to calculate here. I have category and a product. So for each product, I want the percentage representation from its related category. If you look at the measure, so I'm using slightly a different approach here. So total sale is there, right? I'm using it in the divide, the first argument, and dividing by the category total sales, where I need to remove the filter from the product. Okay, so I want to keep the filter only for the category. So for that, what I do is I use calculate total sales. From here, how do I remove the filter? Instead of removing the filter from the product, what I do is I say I use all except. What all except does here is it removes the filter from the products table. Remember, product table has a product ID, product name, and product category, right? So this product category is also coming from the same table. All except works like that. So I am keeping the filter only on category. So when you do that, what happens is I clear the filter from all the products, but I keep the filter on category. That's why I'll be able to get this particular amount, 27 million, right? Throughout this line. So every line will have 27 million. So that is correct. Okay. In this case, what is the problem here? The calculation is correct, nothing wrong. But the purpose is the last few words here. Calculate product sales as percentage of related product category, keeping only product. So I don't want to keep this category here. I want to remove the category. And still I should get the same percentage, right? Even here, I have represented it in a chart. In the chart as well, you see the category A and umbrella, category and product. It's sort of ugly. I don't want to see that. I want to remove the category. Let me go and remove the category. See, the percentage has changed now. So umbrella is not 34%, it's 14%. That's because this percentage is calculated as a percentage of the grand total, not as a percentage of the category that belongs to this umbrella. This is A category, right? This is A. So I need to divide it by the total of that particular category related to this product. It works when I use my category, right? From the product table. You see product category, if you move it here, it works. But I don't want this to work like that. Let me shift it up. Yeah, drill down. So how do I remove the category and still calculate the correct one? Okay, let's go back to the measure. So what I'm doing here is, taking the total sales, that is fine, but this part over here, right? Instead of using all except, what I need to do is I need to clear the filter from the product table and apply the filter of the category. How do I access the category here, right? Remember, there is a concept called cross filtering in a table, right? Let me apply it and show it to you. If you use values, value can get what is visible in the filter context, right? Go to product, and I am just applying the filter of product category, whatever is visible in this context. And I remove the filter from the products table. clear everything from the products table and apply only the category. So if you are in umbrella, the category is category A. So it will apply that and calculate the total. When you confirm this, this works, right? If I go and remove now the product category, still I'm getting 34%. Now you don't need to have that category column. That's because of the cross filtering. Let me go back to the product table and show you what happens here. Now, if you select a particular product, let's say if you select umbrella, it filters the whole table and you can still access this particular column value visible, right? How do you access? Using values. That's how I insert the filter from the category table. Now in a chart, you don't have to have it. You can just simply remove the category as well. Now it still calculates correctly. Good. We are on to the last one. Okay, this is a bit tough, but it's very important to understand this. Okay, let me take it one step at a time on this. So the question is simple. It says calculate percentage of sales for units below 500. Okay. So what do you have here? I have in a matrix products. For each product, I have the total sales amount. Then I have a measure here, right? Sales below 500 units. I want to show the total sales where in the table, the units total is less than 500. Let's have a look at that measure. How do I do that? So I'm calculating the total sales. Then I apply a filter here. I'm using this way. I filter the sales data table and I apply a condition where sales units sold is less than 500, right? This is the filter. And it's giving me the correct answer, like 811,000. What this basically does is in the sales table, it will go and filter the units sold as less than number less than 500. This sort of operation is done here. It's correct. 6.4 million is the total for less than 500 units sold by each line. Now the requirement is this. I want to calculate the sales, total sales, 811. I want to divide this by this amount. So each product, how much percentage it represents in terms as a percentage of total, right? And so on. In order for me to calculate, I have created a measure, but I'm not getting it. I'm getting 100% everywhere. Let's have a look at the measure. Okay, let me explain this. I've used variables, so it's going to be simple. Eventually, what should happen is I should take sales below 500, this particular amount, and divide it by 6.4 million. So first, I assign the sales below 500. I showed you the measure where I'm calculating before, right? That is fine. For the lower part, what I do is I calculate the total sales. Total sales of what? Units below 500, right? I need to calculate units below 500, but I need the total by removing the filter. I don't need any filter on the product. Why? I need this particular total to go in every row, right? Every row, I need to see this. That's why I'm removing the filter on the product. So the filter is applied for 500. I don't want the total amount. Instead, I need 811,000 in this case. So that's why I'm getting I'm having this condition over here. So why it doesn't work? Why it's giving 100% everywhere? Okay. This concept is very important. It's called the expanded tables concept in Dax, right? So expanded table means what happens here? Let's have a look at this measure. You are using calculate to modify this calculation. I remove the filter on product. right? Whatever filter applied, I remove it. So at this point, when I calculate this this percentage, I get 811,000. Fine. So this particular amount, when I remove the filter, okay, you would think I will get 6.4 million, right? No, 49,000 here. And I apply the filter again with a separate filter argument here, the calculate argument using filter. What happens here is each argument in filter argument in calculate is evaluated independently. So what happens when you use a table here? I'm using the full table, referring to the complete table. I'm filtering the whole table, right? Sales data table. This is also clearing the filter on the product that is coming from my visual. I already have a filter on the product. So whatever you cleared here, it reapplies. That's the reason you see over here the incorrect results getting 100%. Same amount in the upper part and the lower part, right, of the division. To solve this, what you can do, simply apply the filter only on the column. So always when you work with DAX, try to avoid iterating over the whole table, applying filter on the whole table. So apply it only on the column. So which is units sold. I'm clearing the filter, removing the filter from units sold and getting this. Okay, now let me confirm this. In this case, you are getting the correct answer, right? This is the higher amount, 24%. Now this works. If you look at calculate, it allows you to apply the filter without doing so much work. In the background, what happens is, this is what's going on when you apply a simple predicate. Instead of applying this way, what I can do, remove the whole condition, apply it this way. It's a syntax sugar actually. So this gets converted to this, the backend, right? So it's easy for you to type this way. So this always works on the selected column only. It doesn't clear the filter from the whole table when you apply this way. Now, let me confirm this. Okay, now you're getting the correct results. Similarly, if you see my measure that I use for sales below 500, I can do the same thing. I don't need this part. Don't filter on the whole table. Apply the filter only on the column. Okay, hope you got that one. With this, I have come to the last example. Hope it was helpful. If you got any questions, please let me know.
Thank you, Fowmy, for your wonderful session. I really found it very interesting. And I kindly ask everybody to turn on their cameras and also unmute themselves. Of course, they can ask their question. In my turn, I will ask my questions. So, but first of all, let me stop live stream on Facebook.